Welcome, everybody, to Next Gen Leadership Live. I'm your host, Jimmy Ryan. This is brought to you by Momentum Builder. Hey, join our community. And we're joined by Gino Ferrante. He's a regional manager and branch manager and all-around leader in the mortgage industry. What's up, Gino? And Craig Davis, coach to some of the greatest in the mortgage industry. So this is a part of a three-part series. We're talking about business planning, why it doesn't work, and how to make it work. And we started last week, which was just an excellent episode. I don't know if I thanked you again for it, Craig. I watched it a couple of times over. It made me just think about a lot of stuff. Watch that video, please. 10,000 feet above sea level. That's our vision. And that was last week. This week, we're going to focus on the 1,000 feet above sea level. That's the strategy. And then next week, we're talking about execution. So with that, I think you teed it up best, Gino, with what about the strategy? What about the 1,000-foot view?
I mean, I think this is where dreams go to die. I think this is in reality where a lot of business plans fail. The vision part is the fun part for most, where they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. The ideas, the grandiose, the dreams, all of that. And then that's where motivation fades because you don't have a strategy to implement so that you could actually get to the next phase. And so I think this is the critical step, because I think once you put down the strategy, things become clear and things look simple. You're like, is that all I need to do? Like if I do these 20 things, will it work? And so dreams become reality or dreams become failures in this step, Craig. So I know we need your help with it.
Okay. So I love that you're bringing this up. Let's jump right into the problem. I love this. Here's the other problem. Agreed, right? Vision. Okay, cool. I want to go do this.
Yeah, right.
And then what do people do? They actually skip over strategy and go right to tactics, go right to execution. And that's a problem also, because then we go into just whack-a-mole. I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, but it may not be aligned into the strategy of what you want to do, right? Like when I say tactics and execution, action, I'm saying the same thing, just for fine print here, right?
I know what you're getting at. I'm feeling right now like you're talking about people that say, I'm so busy, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And it's not working.
Well, and then that's the whole like working smarter, not harder. I remember like earlier in my days when I was in sales, I was on the wholesale side. I'd be in a meeting and I was the number one AE in the company. And then the number two AE in the company was sitting next to me, for example. And she would just be hair on fire all the time. Chaos, right? 50 voicemails. I got to get back to my brokers. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I'd be there like, I got like 5, 6 voicemails and I'm going to get back to them and do my thing. I mean, I'm doing more production than she is. And that is working smarter, not harder. And I get it, right? We got to work hard and smart, but we have to work smart. We have to work smart, right? And so going back to, this is why we do not move past strategy right into action, right into execution, because we might get misaligned. We might then just be in whack-a-mole management is kind of what I would say, right? Bill Dallas would always say whack-a-mole, right? And so let me give you an example. Okay, so let's back up for a second. So we've been talking around, first of all, business plans don't work, right? I think we all agree. We do them once a year, satisfy our boss. Maybe we do it for ourselves, right? Get some information out of our minds, but we never look at it again. So it doesn't fundamentally work. It's the old way. It's archaic. Instead, we're going to architect our business. That's why I put my name here as the business architect,
which I really like, by the way. That might actually stick.
Yeah, as like maybe going from Sherpa to business architect, I kind of
way better. Maybe a little fine tuning there. Call it your business architect.
That's on the slide deck that we're going to be talking about too.
Nice.
So instead of the business plan, the start, stop, all that, no, we just need to architect our business so we're always in a state of flow. And what we do is we first start off and think about what are our key business verticals, our key business pillars, I should say. And those are our verticals that stand up, support, and drive our business forward. That then gives us clarity, critically important. Your verticals can be prospecting, it can be marketing, it could be sales, it could be events. It doesn't matter. But the key is we want to think about it in the form of verticals. We're building a house here. Then we go into each vertical and we do vision, strategy, execution. That's what we're talking about. Last week, we talked about vision. Vision is just 10,000 feet. Where are we going? Why does it matter? Why should anyone care? By the way, that's a really important question to ask if you are in management and leadership. If you are driving a vision within your branch or your company, why does anyone care? Why should they care? How does it benefit their life? We have to think in their desired outcomes. So there's our vision. We're 10,000 feet. Now strategy, 1,000 feet, 1,000 feet, right? If execution and the actions are sea level, those are details, right? Strategies, 1,000 feet. Let me give you an example.
I was just going to say, could you define strategy so we get an idea of what that looks like?
Yeah, totally.
Same.
Let's
By the
just
way,
say,
Jimmy, if you could check the Facebook live stream, may not where you're working. Keep going.
okay. So perfect examples like marketing or like recruiting, right? So let's just take marketing, for example. All right. Marketing is one of my pillars. Let's just say my vision is, I want to grow a wider audience, go deeper with them, reach more people, create better awareness, et cetera. Great. My strategy, one strategy might be social media. Another strategy might be email marketing. Another strategy might be putting on events and creating invites. So I have marketing around invites, right? So those are our strategies. So let's go back to social media. Social media is a strategy. The execution of that is I will post 3 days a week. I will do videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will do this, that, and the other. So again, my point is what happens sometimes is we go, okay, I want to market. I don't even know what that means. And then I go right to, all right, I'm just going to start posting things. But it's not part of an integrated marketing plan. And it's not part of, and by the way, all these individual business pillars, they have relationships between each other. They're integrated between each other. They're related. We're going to have overlap, maybe not duplication. I said events, for example, under marketing. Well, the invite is the marketing part of it. Now, events might be a separate pillar of yours because you really want to drive events as an ongoing way to generate business and so on and so on. So does that make sense when I talk about social media is the strategy, posting is the action? So that's why we got to think about now I have multiple strategies to build up my marketing. So now marketing isn't just this kind of one-off here or there thing. Now, here's another reason why this is critically important. We know rates are they're lowering. Phone's starting to ring. We're getting excited. Well, past client database. That is really important that we are marketing our past client database, that we're reaching out to our past client database. In fact, I would say right now we have to lift up that vertical and really dive into our past client database. I need to and want to generate activity because, and here's why. Because if we are calling our clients right now to do a refi, it's probably too late. It's probably too late. That's an action, right? Great. Good job. Too late because this refi boom is not going to be like the rest. And I know that's a different rabbit trail and we can go down that trail because it is very important. But my point I'm trying to make is past client database is a strategy. Now, what do we need to do? Because we want to have reasons to make phone calls. We want to have reasons to be in touch with our clients. Let refis and referrals be a result. So I need so here's different ideas and making reasons.
I just want to really quickly interject there. I think that's the mistake most salespeople make
100%.
is calling when there's something to be sold. You actually need to do the opposite. You need to call when there's nothing to talk about. Hey, Jimmy, haven't talked to you in a little bit. How you doing, bro?
100%.
Not, hey, Jimmy, rates are down. I'm sure you've heard. Let's put you in a refi. Those are two totally different conversations. And if you haven't had the first conversation, you're not allowed to ask for the business. You didn't earn the right to ask for the business. So then when you call just to do the business, now you've become transactional and you're shoppable, you're not relational, and you could lose this relationship. So I just wanted to go off tangent a little bit, Craig, to demonstrate what could go wrong if you don't have a strategy, if you're only in execution.
So let's stay on that tangent because this is the relevant right now thing, right? So the past client database that's our vertical, for example, right? Strategy would be reasons to call, right? So how about a mortgage review? How about doing the tax assessment product from InCenter, for example? I'm pushing that heavy right now.
Yeah.
Give, checking in. How are you? Giving, right?
Hey, I know fire insurance is a big problem in a lot of the country right now. Are you doing okay with your fire insurance? Has that changed for you?
Have you had any issues? I got a great insurance agent. They've been able to solve a lot of fire insurance problems. Those are all execution points, actions, right? The tactics, all those things that feed into the strategy. Because to your point earlier, Gino, and the same thing like what I was saying, now we want refis and referrals to be a result of this. But if those are the reasons we're making a call, then we're too late, because this is the sad truth. The call centers are on the rise. They're going to be bigger than they ever have been. And the servicers are going to be way more intentional about keeping their clients, your clients. And technology has vastly matured. Data insight, speed to need and lead. So by the time you call, okay, cool. Hey, rates are in range. We can do a refi. That call center has already called. They've already had that conversation, and the rate is probably lower than yours before yours was. So that's why we have to be in front of our clients way before it is time to take an action, giving value. So think about everybody listening. Do you see now you understand why strategy is so important? Because if I'm thinking about a past client database strategically, then I have my actions that are lining up to that. And now I've got marketing, I've got reasons to call, I've got different products. Katrina is just in here talking about the tax solutions product from InCenter. What an amazing reason to call. Amazing reason to call.
Yeah,
Totally,
I mean, and I could give you a script for that, right? I'd say, hey, I'm calling because I know that you're seeing in the national numbers that that homes are appreciating at 5 to 6% annually, but that's not happening everywhere, and real estate is hyper local. I want to make sure that your city is only charging you exactly what they should for the value of your home, and we're finding a lot of mistakes, and we've got a third-party partner that evaluates your property taxes and make sure you never pay one more dollar in tax than you have to. Does that sound good to you?
Who wouldn't want to do that? Oh, by the way, it's free.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? You don't even have to be that clever with it either. It can literally just be like, did you set up your auto payments like we talked about? Did you ever look at the biweekly payments that we spoke about? You don't have to be that clever. It's just that touch that is a relationship, and it's real.
So just to continue to define strategy, because it is a gray, weird, messed up area between strategy and execution. Like I'm already confused in it. So let's go clear this up. I have a team, a real estate team, who's incredibly successful at marketing. And when you ask them how they manage their database, they said Facebook is their database. And they've progressed beyond this now, but initially Facebook was their database. And so, well, what do you do? And so, well, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, and we have at least 26 working days in the month. So on each day, we touch all the A's one day, all the B's the next day, all the C's the next day. And said by the end of the month, we've touched our entire database, either with a comment or a like or a DM or a something. And they said, and we've stayed in touch with everybody at all times because we touched our entire database in a month.
That's amazing. So the strategy is
that's strategy, right? Yeah. That's not execute. Now, then you got to do it. Exactly. That's execution. Correct. But the strategy was, we're gonna dial by alphabet on Facebook. That was the strategy.
Correct. Because by thinking about it like that, by lifting above, just go do that, by understanding the strategy, now we're realizing we're connecting the dots, 26 days, 26 letters. And and then what are we gonna do? We're gonna shoot a DM, we're gonna send out this, we're gonna do that. Like now our actions are all tied to that strategy. Now it's a simple but powerful, subtle difference, right? Because again, I get it. Let's just err on the side of action. Agreed. Agreed. But from a point of, if you want to architect your business, if you're doing business plans, if you have goals that you're setting, if you are trying to drive your business forward, smarter, not harder, and in a momentous flow state, see, I'm trying to get momentum in there. In a momentous flow state, this is why it's critically important. Because once you build this out, and by the way, this is a heavy lift to really get our minds thinking this way. Once we do it, it is no longer a heavy lift. We just execute. And then we fine tune, right? But it is important because we got to spend a little time thinking through this. Recruiting is another great example. And I'm leading a recruiting coaching program because, again, what is the most common thing in recruiting? It's whack-a-mole. All right, I got to bang phones. I'm going to make phone calls. And then I stop doing it because I get busy and I don't really like doing it. Funny, I'm not growing. Okay, let's start doing it again, right? It's so start, stop, start, stop.
I will say that you have to use technology to help you with things like that.
Of course.
And plug for our friend here, but Model Match is a great tool that's helped me become more consistent at recruiting. So if recruiting is something I need to do, and I have a vision of growing a team, then what's my recruiting strategy?
Exactly.
Right. And my recruiting strategy may be, I don't know, and you tell me if I'm getting too much into the weeds, but maybe it's 2 texts a month, 1 email a week, and 2 phone calls a month. Or is it there's 2 phone calls a month too much? And is that the strategy where I say, here's what I'm gonna do? And then execution is actually just doing those things, right?
Yeah. Well, and let me say it a different way. And the way I talk about recruiting, for example, right? Well, first of all, what's your growth plan? Because growth and recruiting are 2 different things. Recruiting, for example, that's just a strategy or an action within the growth plan itself. So you have a vision of, I want to grow. Now, how am I going to do that? Okay. Now we got to break, okay, well, what's my process? Right? Phone calls. How am I generating insight lists? How am I going to track and create optics? Am I going to use Model Match? Which you should, because I agree. Right? And then to your point, okay, am I making calls every day? Is it just Tuesday and Thursday? What's my marketing strategies? So again, we kind of break it down so it's all integrated. So we're in a flow, we're in a process. But growth and recruiting is a vertical. It's a vertical. So we have to have vision on where we're going. Then we have to strategically say, okay, now how am I going to do it? I'm going to make calls. I'm going to send out marketing. I'm going to do social media posting. I'm going to do events. I'm going to, and then, okay, now let's break it down. What are the actions that support the strategy? So, and let me say it a different way on a global, right? Because it can be a little blurry sometimes. Vision, again, 10,000 feet. Where are we going? Why does it matter? Strategy, 1,000 feet. Strategy feeds the vision. What strategies feed the vision? Execution, those are actions. That's C level. Execution drives strategy.
Now I know why it's so muddy between strategy and execution, yet it's not so much between vision. If you said 10,000 feet,
yeah, it's much
closer. And then strategy is 1,000 feet, there is a giant gap between vision and strategy, but there's a small gap between strategy and execution, and that's why the 2 get muddy.
They can get muddy. And again, it's sort of like, it can get a little muddy, and that's okay. The point is, I just want clarity in your thinking. So we are delineating that our actions are tied to a strategy. We're not just jumping right into just doing things, because then we know when we do it like that, that's start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. It is not momentum. That is, I'm motivated. And as we know, motivation does not last.
Momentum. Yeah, that almost reminds me of, there is no such thing as multitasking. There's just task switching.
Right. We can't multitask.
You can't multitask. Nobody can. It's not humanly possible. So what you're really doing is switching between tasks. And what happens is some people switch between tasks more rapidly than others.
Yeah.
And that gives the false impression of, I'm a good multitasker. No, you're just a damn good task switcher. And so what happens is you get into task. So my challenge to say, well, how do I build a strategy, or where do I even know that I need to build a strategy, is ask yourself when you're doing something, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
If you don't know the answer to why am I doing this, that means you have no strategy.
That's right. Well, then go ahead. Sorry.
Is it as simple as like vision is like what to do and why to do it? Strategy is how to do it. And then there's execution, doing. I mean,
you can break down that way.
That's the breakdown. Yeah.
And then let me put it in line with role definition. Leaders drive vision. Leaders have vision. Where are we going and why? Managers drive strategy. Okay, that's the process. We need to have social media process, We need to have an email process. We need to, whatever those strategies are. Managers drive strategy. And then the doers drive execution.
How do we make a great strategy? What's a great strategy? What's the blueprint to creating a strategy?
I'm just going to I'm going to stay on the same subject. Start with vision. Where are you going and why? Now, to your point, strategy is, okay, how are we going to get there?
Because there's lots of different ways.
Right.
And by the way, I say this all the time. I've seen people in the mortgage industry. Everybody takes a different road to success in the mortgage industry.
Yeah.
Like
that's true.
You could be a builder person. You could be a realtor person. You could be a financial planner person. Your source of leads can be completely different in the mortgage space, one from another. Your business model, you could be a broker, you could be a banker, you could be at a bank, you could be at a credit union, you could be a multitude, you could be a hard money person, a down payment assistance person. So there is no one road. And this is why it's so important that you, as a manager, being able to be one-on-one with your person and say, what road do you want to take? What road will get you to where you want to get the fastest? Like, we're bridge builders is kind of what I'm looking at.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it's easy to then drive this. For example, I'm a solopreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I am the CFO, the CEO, the marketing manager. Katrina is my marketing manager. I am the receptionist. I'm the janitor. Right. Like, so originators, I get it. Like, we have to, so I can now have clarity in my business verticals. And then I manage my strategy. So strategically, I know that marketing within my vertical of marketing, social media is one of my strategies. I'm not thinking of all my execution points. I'm just managing my strategy. I just know that on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I post. So it makes it easier because I have a strategy. It makes it easier because then it kind of also helps you create like themes, if you will. Right? Because we don't want to have to manage every single detail. But if we understand where we're going, we're looking through that lens, we're driving our business forward with vision and strategy, the execution of that naturally happens. It's tied together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're following you're following the directions effectively. Like,
when your brain is oriented and looking through this lens, you act accordingly, right? Like,
doing is easy when the strategy is defined.
Exactly.
I kind of like that. The little drop nugget that you put in there, Jimmy, just now. I immediately envisioned Lego instructions. Right.
Right.
So Lego instructions are the strategy. It's there. Right. Somebody already built it, dreamt it, everything. You just have to put it all together. And in our space, that's actually really true. You don't really have to reinvent a lot of things. Right. A lot of really great, smart people have already invented the things that need to be invented. You just need to use them and be disciplined about using them. For example, mortgage coach. Right. If you're a mortgage coach expert, there is no doubt in my mind that those that are mortgage coach experts tend to outperform those that are not. That's the science.
More profitable.
In your sales vertical and building, my sales vertical, my vision might be like, I really want to build deep relationships with my clients so I can serve them as a customer, create customers of life. One of my strategies to do that is I will use mortgage coach. And then the execution of that is I will do a TCA with every quote. So see how that all lines up?
So strategy is building the checklist.
That's right. And then you're also asking yourself, okay, hold on a second. If my vision in sales is to create customer for life, what else do I need to do beyond mortgage coach?
Be a part of their life.
What other strategies? Well, I need past client database and keeping in touch. Okay, well, how do I do that? Well, I need reasons to call. So I'm going to do a mortgage review. Oh, wait, mortgage review and mortgage coach are together. They're related. I'm going to do the tax assessment once a year. I'm going to do the, hey, what's up? How are you? Just thinking of you. So all of a sudden, now I have 4 touch points throughout the year of peer value give. So versus I'm just going to start doing mortgage coach because we know that doesn't work. So again, it comes back to creating a flow. It comes back to creating habits, right? All these different things. So hopefully that kind of helps sort of like clear out the mud and now give us some direction. Because
I'm going to walk away with it thinking about building the checklist. For me, is the easiest way to think about it. What should be on the checklist? Because then next week we'll talk about how do you time block so you could check the boxes on the checklist. That's a whole different animal, and that's what we'll dig into next week. But right now, I think it was like, okay, last week we had dreams, we had visions, we thought about this grandeur and all the things we want to achieve. And this week we said, okay, how the hell do we do that? Well, let's put a list together of the things that we think would help us execute on that vision. And so this, like, again, just like we started this conversation, I think this is where things go to die.
Stay in the how before we go right into the do, right? Like this is the how stage. And you're right, because next week we're going to now get into execution. So I'm going to talk about what I call my optimization zones. So I'm going to show you how to break down your day and create your optimization zone. So now you are executing and you are living within your strategy. And now we're creating a flow to our day.
Guys, what a great call. Wow. This is just excellent. I'm already just thinking about, I'm going to watch this again and be like, I'll be posting again, messaging you guys like, guys, I love this call. This is just money. Make sure everybody joins next week. Just like you said, we're handling execution. We're going to get into the weeds with it. And hey, if you like this and there was something that maybe you took from it, make a comment. Let us know what you liked. Maybe you hated it. Tell us something about it. Yeah. We would love any interaction. And make sure you join us next week. We will be live on all social medias. And we thank you for watching. Thanks, Gino. Thanks, Craig.
See you guys. Thank you.